Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pav Bamber here for PSP Sports. We've also got
Shane Watson here from PSP Sports as well.
And on the line we've got Jono Carroll. Jono, thank you so much for talking to PSP Sports. How are you?
I'm good, Pav. I'm good. My pleasure to be here.
Good stuff, good stuff. I believe Shane's got the first question for you, Jono.
Yep, sweet.
Obviously, you got a great achievement in your career and you won prize fighter. You was a massive underdog for that fight. Well, for all your fights in that, of course, because you have fought quite a few times in prize fighter. Since then, you made a big signing with Matchroom Sports.
Yep.
So, how's your career been with Matchroom? How does Eddie Hearn and that treat you while you've been working with him?
It's good. It's not too bad, you know. It's just I wish I was getting a few more fights, is all. But normally, I can't really complain. You know, every card that I've been on has been massive cards. Have been good exposure and everything else. I just wish I was out a bit more because I'm young, you know. I'm ambitious and I'm constantly fit, so I constantly want to be fighting, you know.
Sure.
This is all I do. This is my job pretty much, so I want to be out fighting all the time.
Fair enough. And obviously, I think yesterday I saw Lucian Reed, who's 4-0. He actually left Eddie Hearn and signed with Frank Warren because he wasn't getting enough fights. How many fights are you hoping to have a year, Jono? Because obviously, as you say, for a guy with your experience, you're picking up good wins. How many more times would you rather be out in the year?
I'd like to be out probably six times a year.
Right.
And I'd be happy with that even more if we could, you know.
Sure.
A few easy nights like the last night that I had, just a 6 rounder. I've been so fit. I'd have no problem fighting now next week, you know. So I literally all I need off is a week or two, and then I'm back at it hard. So to be honest with you, as long as there's no injuries or nothing like that, I'd fight every second week, no problem. I'd be happy to do that, you know.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't seem to be happening. Really.
Obviously, when you fought in prize fighter, you proved that you could mix it at a good level in boxing, and that was early on in your career too. So, would you like the bigger fights now? Because obviously, you've proven that you can beat big names, and obviously, since then, you haven't fought many big names apart from maybe Miguel Gonzalez, who you fought in the undercard of the Tyson Fury fight. So, are you looking for the bigger names now that you're 10-0?
Of course I am. Yeah. Well, the thing is, that's what I got involved in this boxing game for. I don't want to be beating journeymen. I don't want to be beating people who have 50 fights and one win. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm in this game for. I'm in this game to be boxing the best and be fighting the best, and also to be getting that big money, getting in them exciting fights, not just them boring fights. The thing is, I find these days people's padding their record, and it's not helping boxing. Boxing back in the day, it was huge. It was so much more popular than what it would be these days because of the UFC kind of a little bit as well.
Yeah.
The thing is with the UFC that they're putting the best guys against the best guys, and that's what the promoters and stuff like that in America and England and everywhere else is that's what they're not doing, and that's what they should be doing, I suppose, is putting these good guys. Now, I agree, get a couple of journeymen in there, get a bit of experience so you can do the 10 rounds and the 12 rounds and stuff. But like my last fight in Germany, the one that you were talking about, that was a 10 rounder, and then I got dropped back down to a 6 rounder, you know?
Right.
So if I'm able to fight a 10 rounder, I don't see why I should be fighting at least 8 and 10s all the time then, you know? And then hopefully getting titles and start fighting for 12 rounds. So I'm fighting good lads, you know? Of course, I want the best. And that's what I'm in this game to do, is to fight the best, you know?
Absolutely. And of course, you've fought some pretty decent guys already. You've defeated Declan Geraghty, Stephen Foster Jr., Gary Buckland. You also fought on the absolutely huge undercard in Germany for Tyson and Vladimir. How, Jono, in your opinion, how good have these fights been for your experience going ahead now into the future, where you're anticipating bigger fights in big arenas?
Yeah, massively, you know, especially that one in Germany. Like, that was my first 10 rounder. I never even sparred 10 rounds before that, you know. So
right.
I was taking a lot on my stride as that fight was going on. I was learning, I was adapting. I had to do certain things that I didn't have to do in training, you know. Well, I never even sparred 10 rounds, so it's like I couldn't even do them sort of things in training, you know, adapt the way I was doing. So, and then the likes of Buckland and Foster and stuff, very experienced lads, and I needed to do certain things and adapt in certain ways that I wouldn't have to do with, let's just say, a normal journeyman or someone like that, you know, or someone who's even inexperienced, because someone who's inexperienced is throwing punches from mad angles, and it's dangerous. They're diving in with their heads, and it's like even Declan Geraghty, I got 2 cuts in that fight.
Right.
Because he was a new fighter, I was a new fighter, and he lunges an awful lot, you know, because we were both southpaws as well, we were clashing heads, all sorts of things, you know. Whereas with them lads, I could almost see things coming with like the Buckland and the Foster fight. I could see that punches coming because they're correct, you know, they're throwing their punches correct, you know, you almost can predict their punches. Whereas because I was still young and only kind of out of amateurs not too long, my speed was still there, you know, I didn't slow things down too much.
Yeah.
So it almost felt like you were slow to me, the same as that one in Germany. It felt like your man was slow to me, even though he had more knockouts than I did fights. You know what I mean? So, like, I have to say, yeah, the experience I'm getting off them fights is major. I don't know what, I'd have to be in the ring with someone to put me in a bit of danger, I suppose, for me to adapt and learn and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And know what to do and what not to do in my next fight. But getting in with, like, say, someone where I just have it all my own way, I'm not learning really much in them sort of fights, you know what I mean? But, so I'm angry just for the simple fact that I want to be out more, I want to be tested more, I just want to be getting good fights, regular fights, you know? It's hard over here in Ireland because there's no promoter or anything over here, so it's not like I'm just on a promoter's lip and he just has my best interest in this. Well, let's get him out this date, that date. You know, it's literally I fight and then I wait for a couple of months to even hear of them next. You know what I mean? So it's almost like an our sight, our mind sort of thing. You know?
Right. Okay.
And obviously, you're a very influential trainer in Pascal Collins, and you fight up the Celtic Warriors gym, I believe.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how much of an influence he is on your career? And do you believe he's the man to take you to the top?
Yeah, he's great experience, you know. He's obviously been there with his brother and stuff like that. He's good connections in the boxing and so on, and he's been there with like the likes of Freddie Roach and stuff like that. He just watched and adapted. Like, you know, he's very I don't know. He's very mature in the way he trains people. He's not that old himself, you know what I mean? But he has an old head on his shoulders, and he's got a lot of experience and stuff like that with see, the thing is with that Celtic Warriors gym, he's not open too long, so you can see by him that he's still learning. He's still obviously adapting himself, but at the same time, he's very educated in the whole boxing scene and boxing people, you know, because in this game, you don't know who to trust and who not to trust. But with Pascal Collins, you're 100%. You know where you stand with him. You know what I mean? He's not the type who's going to just like. He's not going to use and abuse you, you know what I mean? He's there for your best interest. And I think when you have a trust in your relationship, when you can kind of go far, you know what I mean? And these people out there, I know if I had a team around me that I didn't trust and I didn't know what fights they put me into, I'd be almost hesitant. But like I said, I have trust in Pascal. That time when we went over to Germany, I only heard your man's name the day off the weigh-in. I weighed in and everything. And then I got your man's name. I seen his record and I was like, phew, this fella's good, you know, he's not bad.
Yeah.
And he was only beaten twice and twice off the same guy. So he obviously went back for revenge and just didn't make it, you know. But so that to me shows that he was a decent lad. But as I said, I had full confidence in Pascal. And I knew we weren't going in there. Like, I knew I was going to beat him. Simple as that. There was nothing in my head saying, are they trying to set me up, or am I just going to be used as a little bait dog? You know what I mean? Like,
no, sure.
But because I respect Pascal and I know what he's about, I knew he told me himself. He was like this guy. He was like, he's a straightforward puncher. He's not going to have much the body. You know, you're in there sparring. Stephen Ormond, like, and the likes, he was saying, this guy, he won't body it. He was like, he'll be strong, but just make him miss for the first couple of rounds, and then box at your own pace. Make sure you dictate the pace. And once we done that, it almost seemed like an easy night for me, you know. But as I said, I never done 10 from round, so I had to make that fight as easy as possible for myself. So we just made him miss an awful lot, and every single bit of advice Pascal told me, that's what I done. I executed the game plan, and it went well, you know. And that's a lot down to Pascal. Whereas if I had an immature trainer and just said, get out there and try blast them out of it. I could have got tired and I wouldn't have made it to 10 rounds. And I could have fell short. Who knows?
Of course. Jono, I was going to say, when you were speaking about fighting in the future, how many fights you want, you seem quite, I don't know, I'd say frustrated with the current situation you're in. I feel like at the moment, as you've been saying to us, you'd obviously want to be fighting a lot more and you'd want to be getting more and more fights. I mean, having said that, I mean, are you something you said to me there that after you fought, you don't really hear much. I mean, are you on the phone to Eddie regularly? Are you asking Eddie to put you on more cards? Because Matchroom have a whole array of cards throughout the year, and it's not great, obviously, for someone of your quality to not be fighting as much as you like to. I mean, how often does Eddie call you to say, you know what, Jono, I'm going to put you on Birmingham with Egerton Skeet, or I'm going to put you on Liverpool with Callum Smith? How often is he in contact with you about your fights?
Me personally, I've never talked to Eddie here on the phone. He's never rang me and said, Jono, I think we should get you out that date, this date. I've never personally talked to him myself. Well, I've obviously seen him at the fights and talked to him after the fights and stuff like that. But no, Eddie has never rang me and said, Jono, I think this is what route we're going to go down. This is the plan. I think we should do this. I've never had any of them sort of conversations with Eddie,
Wow,
and
okay.
obviously, I have to leave that up to my team, but at the same time, like you said, it's frustrating and stuff because
it must be.
All I'm doing is sitting around waiting to hear when I'm going to be out next, and I'm constantly getting told, "Oh, you're going to be out on this date or that date," and then the time comes around and there's no word of it. Oh, you're not actually on this date. We're hoping to be on this. We're hoping to be on that, and then the time comes and I'm not on the cards. You know what I mean? So it is frustrating, and it's almost like I've seen Pascal ringing them, and I don't think they're the lads ringing Pascal saying, "Wait, we're going to get him out here." There, Pascal almost has to ring them and say, "Right, when is Jono going to be out? We need these getting frustrated.
Sure,
we need him out more and whatever." And it's almost like Pascal's working hard, going on overtime almost to get them to get me on shows. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
it's crazy, and I thought it was going to kick off loads after Prize Fighter. As soon as I won Prize Fighter, I was like, lovely, and then they offered me the 5 fights a year. Well, they said it was going to be 5 fights a year. I got 3 last year. And then I don't know what the crack is, you know what I mean? This year, it was the 5th month into the year, and I've got 1 fight. Then I probably won't be out for another 3 months, you know what I mean? Whereas I'm ready to go this month again if they want me to fight.
Sure.
Like the one over in Germany, I was ready. They rang, and I was ready. They rang on a Monday. I was ready that weekend to fight. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been on that fight. So that's the kind of connection that I have. It's like they ring and say, "Right, can you fight on this date?" And as a fighter, I'm always ready. I'm always there.
Right.
But yeah, I wish there was a bit more connection. I wish I was even involved a bit more with Eddie and stuff and had a bit more of a relationship with him, but I don't.
Obviously, you spoke about your desires of a rematch with Declan Garrity because obviously it was a disqualification in the last fight and you would want to put that fight on again as you've spoken in interviews before. So what is next for you? Like, what do you want your next fight to be? And obviously it's your 11th pro fight. I'm assuming maybe you want to look at some sort of kind of a title fight to get your ranking up, or what is it you actually want?
Yeah, I want some sort of title for you. Titles now need to start coming soon enough, but it's not even the titles, like all that sort of stuff. That's just a belt, you know what I mean? To me, that doesn't mean anything to me. I want the respect. I want to get out there and be fighting more and get in with the big lads. Declan Garrity, to me, at the time I was saying, yeah, I'd love a rematch or whatever. And maybe down in the future, yeah, that could be a fight. But right now, he's fought nothing but journeyman kind of. So I can't really. It would almost be like a backward step because Declan needs to start fighting someone with a bit of weight with their name. You know what I mean? So like he needs to get himself in a position now to even get a rematch with me. And that's not even me saying that. That's my team saying that.
Right.
So I hope him all the best, and I hope he does keep winning and stuff like that, because that would be a massive fight then in a couple of years' time in Ireland, you know what I mean? And that's when I'll be able to top bills in Ireland, and that would be a very exciting one for the Irish fans, 2 Irish lads going head to head at the top of their career, whenever. But right now, I don't see the point in fighting Declan. I don't even think he'd want to fight me right now because none of our careers would benefit right now because the thing is we're both going to get chunk change really to fight each other.
Sure.
We're not even going to top the bill more than likely, you know. It's just going to be a throw on fight, but yet we'll get massive crowds to it, and it's mainly that's a fight for a promoter to enjoy, not so much for the fighters. You know what I mean? So, like, if let's just say he beats me, that takes me in a massive backward step. Or let's just say I beat him, where does that leave his career then?
Right.
You know what I mean? So right now that fight I know doesn't really appeal to either of us until almost both of us have a title. You know, say I have a world title, he has some sort of a title,
sure,
or even just a European title. He gets himself in position for a European shot. You know, something like that. That's massive in Ireland. That would be a huge fight in Ireland then. So I'm not really looking at the Deco fight. I'm more looking a little bit forward, and then he can obviously come on later on maybe. But right now, I want to. I'd almost love to do America and get a couple of fights in America and get my name, get the fan base over there and in England. You know, just see what the crack is. Get fights everywhere. I'm willing to take fights everywhere and anywhere and get in with the best. And for some reason, I don't know why, I just don't seem to be getting the fights in England. So hopefully Matchroom just kind of have a deal or do something with some other promoter over in America, and that way I can be fighting on both, you know, just because the thing is, I did talk to them last time I was over there. They did say, kind of, not apologising, but they were saying we have a lot of shows on, but we also have a lot of fighters, and it's very hard. I think it's hard for any promoter to keep all their fighters happy and stuff. But at the same time, you see the likes of what's his name, Chris Eubank Jr. He's winning 2 or 3 fights, and he's getting the fights. He's flying off, getting another fight here, there, and everywhere, and he's getting fights whenever he wants fights. You know. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me that I'm so young in my career, I suppose. They're saying, well, he has time. We let him adapt a little bit and let him learn and train a bit more. But nothing in training compares to the fights. So I want the fights. And also, I don't work. All I do is box. You know, I'm focused completely on my boxing career.
Absolutely.
And I'm lucky enough to be in that position to focus completely on my boxing career. But if I'm not getting the fights, sure, what's the point in constantly training?
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And obviously, Jono, your fellow countryman, Conor McGregor, the UFC featherweight champion, there's a lot of talk about him fighting Floyd in Floyd's 50th fight. I mean, I spoke to Peter Fury about this as well yesterday. Basically, I mean, a lot of people have their opinions on the fight. A lot of people are saying boxing beats MMA. We saw like Holly Holm knock out Ronda Rousey, who was a previous boxer. You know, there's a lot of talk about how Floyd could school McGregor if McGregor goes into boxing. Do you think that fight's actually possible, like actually being made? And also, if it does happen, do you think McGregor has a chance against Floyd?
I think the fight, to be honest, I definitely think the fight is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't reckon it'll happen. I think it's a very easy paycheck for Floyd for his 50th fight.
Sure.
The only other person he could possibly fight to keep his name massive would be GGG, and I think that's too big of a risk for him because anything can happen. He can easily get clipped and knocked out in that fight. So I don't think he's going to fight a boxer. And if he does fight a boxer, sure, there's no one out there with a massive name who he could top the bill other than Pacquiao, you know, to finish his career off. So I think Floyd is a pure money man, and I think McGregor is one of the biggest in the UFC. So, and he's also drawing in massive crowds. He's a money man too. So
exactly.
I think just for the money sake alone, I definitely think that the fight will happen. But I think Floyd is going to skill him. If it's completely boxing rules, I think Floyd will skill him. But at the same time, anything can happen in a boxing ring. But I do think Conor has power, all right. But I don't. McGregor's been hit by the best boxers, like, you know, in the world. Sometimes at the primes, and he hasn't been knocked out. So I don't think McGregor is going to knock him out. That 10-ounce gloves, that way he had a 10-ounce gloves. So I don't think McGregor's going to knock him out, and I certainly don't think he has the skills to be one of the best boxers on the planet. You know what I mean? He's too slick for him. But like, if McGregor had been a boxer, there's no way in a million years that he would have been in the right to call out. Mayweather. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
no, sure.
He wouldn't have been able to work his way up, but I think it was a great move on his behalf that he did do it just for that money. You know what I mean? He was very cheeky just to even mention him in the first place. But obviously, if it goes complete boxing rules, then Mayweather wins. Mayweather wins. McGregor, the best thing he could do is just try smother him and constantly grab him and just work constantly on the inside, you know. But don't get me wrong, I spar Neil Seary all the time. He's a UFC fighter. And when we box, if I box him, I can skill him. But when he steps in, he's very, very strong in the clinch. So we could smother him a lot, and he wouldn't make a messy fight of it. And I know for a fact that's the only way McGregor is going to do any sort of damage, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you're not going to be one of the best boxers in the world if you're a UFC fighter, you know. But throw Mayweather in with UFC rules, and McGregor destroys him, you know what I mean? So it's two different sports. But if we're going to go boxing rules, obviously Mayweather, you know what I mean? Let's put my life on it.
So just to wrap it up, this is the last question interview. So by the end of the 2016, what's your targets? What would you be proud to say has happened by the end of this year?
I want a title. I want some sort of title, any sort of belt, just for the simple fact that once I get the belts, then it's ranking me somewhere in the world. So that way I'm eligible to be fighting decent lads, and then fighting for decent titles, you know. So some sort of interim title and European then after that, and then I'm going for world titles. You know, I want these titles, but just for the simple fact that I want to be fighting the best fighters out there, and I want the experience. See, the thing is, like, right now, I'm in no position to say I want to fight this date or whatever. And whereas all these world champions are able to say, right, well, I'll fight on that date, and then people are actually looking out for them. People want to see them fighting and stuff like that. But until that day comes, it's like until I get myself in the position that hold titles and people want to see me fighting. Like it's frustrating because everyone are texting me, asking me when I'm out next, and
I can imagine.
What to tell them. Only until like literally the last week or last 2 weeks, and then it's real short notice. So I'm not getting even people coming over to England. Whereas if I knew even a month or two in advance, I could get people to go. But by the time I find out, it's like I'm just throwing on this card because there's space, and even all the seats. Like I have fans that was coming over at the very start. And I was having like 15 lads, 16 lads coming over with me. And that was last minute as well. But their seats were up in the skies. So
right.
They kind of start getting it because the place was nearly sold out by the time I was even put on the card. So like they're paying hundreds just to go over to England. Then their hotels, the taxis, everything else, drink money, by the time they pay for their fight money, all that sort. They're paying hundreds to be sitting up in the skies and barely being able to see the fight. So like it's at they're getting to the point where a few of them are almost like that last fight I had. I found out on short notice, but the last fight I had, I think I only had I don't know what it was. It was like 10 people came over. But like before that, I was having like 25 and stuff. Anytime I got noticed, I had a good few going over. But once they start sitting up in the clouds, it was like, what's the point? I'd rather sit in the pub and watch it, you know. So
fair enough.
Like I want to get titles just for the simple fact that maybe once I get titles, then I can probably start topping bills in Ireland, and hopefully start bringing Eddie over to Ireland or something. Or
absolutely.
Something like that, you know? Because that's what the main thing is it's just try to get fights back here in Ireland, because when I get them over, I want to start topping bills over here. And that's my main goal, is to start topping bills. And I believe that if I get a couple more fights under the belt and a bit more experience, I'm obviously going to get sharper, stronger, and better. So I'll well be in the position to be topping bills.
Absolutely.
And like, it's not like I'm unexciting either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I need to be exciting, if I'm against someone hard, like when me and Stephen Ormond or anything to be sparring, or even me and Padjo, when it's competitive spar, I go hell for leather. You know what I mean? I'm so much more exciting than when I'm in against these fellas who are almost just trying to survive, because they're grabbing, they're doing silly things, and then I'm getting injured. You know, so the better caliber of fighter I'm against, the better you'll see of me.
Fair enough, Jono. I just want to say thank you so much for giving us your time today. Fingers crossed, you guys, Matchroom and Eddie, can sort some stuff out. Hopefully we see you out much more often on Sky Sports, and obviously, hopefully you pick up some more good wins and good titles this year. So thanks a lot. once again for your time.
I appreciate it, mate. Have a nice day. Take care.
Thanks a lot, Jono. All the best. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.